Reverend Clementine Deymann, Order of Friars Minor, St. Francis Manual, Special Instructions, number 4. The fourth step is the practice of faith. My just man liveth by faith, but if he withdraw himself, he shall not please my soul. Hebrews 10:38. He who wishes to be just before God must not let himself be guided by the maxims of the world, for these only teach how one may get on in the world prosperously, but not how to attain heaven. Neither must one listen to the feelings and inclinations of the heart, for they are fleeting and inconstant as the weather. Lastly, there is no reliance to be placed on the light of the human intellect, for it does not reach above the earth, and can afford no firm or secure anchor. The man who is truly just lets himself be guided by the divine light of faith, and in this light he contemplates things as they are in the sight of God. He prizes and loves and seeks what God prizes and loves and wills. He despises, hates, and abhors what in God's eyes is contemptible, abominable, and detestable. This brilliant light issuing from God himself through the teaching of the Church not only shows us many truths of which otherwise we should know nothing, but exhibits the things of which we are cognizant through our reason in a very different form. In faith we recognize that the riches of the earth are but as dust, the earth itself but a fleeting vapor, the pleasures of the senses but a soap bubble, which bursts when we seek to grasp it. That consequently he is but a fool who so longs for these things, that he loses the eternal goods, the honors and enjoyments of heaven. By forgetting these latter in time, they escape from his grasp eternally. In faith, we see that it is better to be a poor Lazarus here for Christ's sake than to be clothed in purple and fine linen, and every day to partake of expensive banquets with dives, only to be buried finally in hell. That it is better to suffer wrong than do wrong, better to obey than command, better to humble oneself with the publican than to exalt oneself with the Pharisee. Better to take the last seat here below than there above, or than to be first in one's own eyes, or in the blinded eyes of the world. By faith we know that a good work, a mortification, or a humiliation is sweeter and of more value than tables richly set. That the pleasures of sin are short, the bitterness long, and the punishment eternal. Faith does not regard this earthly life as child's play, but as a fearfully earnest and important matter. Faith seeks but one treasure on earth, namely Christian virtue, a treasure which the world does not know, or despises and tramples underfoot. Faith believes that he who has the love of God is rich enough, even were he a beggar, while he who does not carry this treasure in his heart is poor and miserable, though he may own millions. The man of faith declares with the Holy Scripture that he who commits sin is an enemy to his own soul, and asks with Christ, "What doth it profit a man if he gain the whole world and lose his own soul?" Matthew chapter 26, verse 26. The pilgrim through the weary wilderness of this life will most assuredly go astray, and never arrive at the promised land, if he does not gaze at the pillar, a cloud by day, a fire by night, which is the pillar of faith, and led by it rise above all contradiction of the senses, all objections of the intellect, all whisperings of Satan. Yes, this faith must guide alike in bright days and in dark ones. This is what the Apostle says when he admonishes us to give heed to the divine word that shineth in a dark place until the day dawn and day star arise in your hearts. 2 Peter 1:19. A servant of Christ must therefore diligently practice the following. 1. He must thank God from his heart for the light of faith, giving thanks to God the Father who hath made us worthy to be partakers of the lot of the saints in light. Colossians 1:12. Neither shall he ever cease to pray, Lord, I believe, help thou mine unbelief. Lord, increase our faith. 2. He must often and powerfully excite faith, especially in temptations against this virtue, and in such a case repeat after the Apostle in 2 Timothy verse 12, I know in whom I have believed. I have not believed in myself, not in a man, not in an angel, but in the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. John 1:14. He is the truth that deceiveth not, and he speaks to me by the mouth of his holy church. 3. It is useful often to affirm that we would 1,000 times rather lose life and property than deny our faith. We should also pray for those who have not the light of faith. 4. We must not bury the gift of faith, for she is an infinite treasure to men, which they that use become the friends of God. Wisdom 7:14. This treasure of faith must be used, especially on the following occasions. A. In prayer. The more lively the faith, the better the prayer.